The lady that you see here is Dr. Julia Greer, who is the professor of material science at Caltech. And you might not know her, but you have most probably seen her, as I had seen her before I knew her. And how would you have seen her? Well, she is very often seen down here in the bottom left corner, rollerblading around San Marino. And so every morning when I drove up to work, going up Huntington Drive to drop off my child at Carver, I would see Dr. Greer coming back from dropping off her children at Carver down Huntington Drive every day. And I did not realize until after meeting her and after doing a little bit of study that that was her. And not only will you see her doing that, but also rollerblading around the community. So here we go to her website. That's at caltech.edu, and you could see some of the interesting areas that she is conducting studies in. And you could watch this video here of her and her studies in nanomaterials, which is a very short and interesting video. So you can go ahead and take a look and poke around. If we go on to the next page, we could see here the number of citations that she has if you're interested in that. And we can see here that since 2013, she has been cited 11,000 times, which I don't know anything about this, but it looks like a huge number. And if you go ahead and drop into YouTube, you can see that she even has a TEDx talk. Right? And so I went ahead and started that video, and it looked really interesting. So you can watch that if you have the time and motivation. Another interesting video I found was here, Julia Greer's piano performance. And so she is a concert pianist as well. Right? So for any of you pianists out there, you have that in common. And that brings us to Dr. Brian Stoltz. He is the professor of chemistry at Caltech. You can go to his webpage at stoltz.caltech.edu, and you can see a little bit about his research. Here he is with some of his grad students. This is Dr. Stoltz here. And you can see a bad Photoshop of this student here in the bottom right corner. But you can also, take a tour of his lab and see what you're going to be getting yourself into by watching some of these videos and familiarizing yourself with the environment that you're going to be hanging out in during your time conducting experiments. You could take a look at some photos and thesis and some of his publications and area of research. But they are extremely high level, so most of it will probably go over your head as it goes over my head, because we don't have the perspective to appreciate his work. But we will be appreciating working with him in conducting some experiments and coming to hopefully creating new materials and conducting an analysis on the creation, the synthesis of those new materials. So here's Brian Stoltz, and Dr. Brian Stoltz, and he has a Wikipedia page you can take a look at. He has a Twitter, right, that you can follow, and we have this Caltech page. What was interesting to me when I was taking a look at Dr. Stoltz was that he, last year, was awarded the Feynman Teaching Prize. And so Feynman is the character that we're going to be taking a look at, another aspect of the course. And who was Dr. Feynman? Well, he was Dr. Richard Feynman. And he is this fellow here who lived a very colorful life. He was a professor of physics. And, I think 1930 to 1970, somewhere around there is, the time frame that he was in effect. And he published the Lectures on Physics, which is a book that sold more than 1.5 million copies in English. And he has been called the Great Explainer, right? And he's a Nobel laureate. I know of him because I read this book here, Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman, talking about his various escapades during his time as a professor and before that as a student, as a grad student and PhD candidate. Extremely interesting character. But his claim to fame is that he was able to explain anything with such clarity that even somebody without any experience in the field would be able to understand it. And so the Feynman Teaching Prize is a prize that goes to the professor whose students and administration, fellow colleagues, all feel that should be recognized for their work, working with students and propagating the field. And so Dr. Stoltz won this award last year, which is a testament to his dedication and to his skill as an educator. So for those of you who are working with Dr. Stoltz, you have lot to look forward to as you explore the area of chemistry.